Angkat siya. Hey.
My name's Lynn Francis and my position is as an academic, and I've completed my PhD and I take students on field study trips as part of my teaching role. Been on 10 field study trips with students all over Southeast Asia for the last 10 years. I want to give them an experience that they're going to remember that might change how they're going to treat their patients when they come back to Australia.
Because gravity helps baby come out, and the head will start to turn inside. And when the head is born, you have to wait and breathe.
At the same time they're developing their own skills as leaders, they're also developing and looking at, well, what is primary health care? What is really out there? We're at the grassroots here. We're working with villagers, we're working with people that are poor. I do tend to push the students to take on leadership roles. You've got to push students to do it, and all of a sudden they can shine and they feel so good about being able to do that and make a difference to the people.
It's important to wait till you're older to have a baby because your body is still growing.
In the future, I will be less critical on our healthcare system. We have it really good. And I think we take advantage of that because we don't know what other people have.
I think this will make me realise how lucky we are at home and how resourced we are. And also the continuity of care that we have is very good, and our healthcare is actually quite high standard. It'll make me really not take things for granted, I hope.
Yeah. I'm going to be far more empathetic towards my patients. It's kind of weird, we've got so many disposable things at home, but I'm going to be a lot more resourceful and a lot less wasteful of what we have.
I think it will make me a lot more culturally diverse. It's opened up my eyes to seeing the world from just one other perspective.
Teamwork's a big part of it as well.
He's a bad man. Use a condom. What if he says, I don't want condom? What do you say?
What do you say?
No. You say, well, no sex.
Learning, of course, about the cultural safety, implications and, what is culturally safe. Learning about how you can talk to someone without speaking the language, language of food, language of healthcare, learning about pain, learning about what's happening on both sides of you, and you can communicate. Using a few words of the language is very useful, and the students learn that as well. But also having gratitude for actually how wealthy we are in Australia.
The biggest impact, I think, has been definitely going to Gandaki Hospital. It was shocking walking in there. Not even the dirtiness of it or, the hygiene standards or anything like that. I think it was when we walked into the labour room and there were 8 women in this tiny room all labouring together. There was no privacy and there was just no care.
I think one of the things that impacted me the most this trip so far, being a week in, has actually been the surgical ward and seeing the differences between here and Australia.
Just the hospitals in general, going into a ward and seeing stained sheets and just, things that you just don't even imagine you'll see even in a third world country.
The health camp.
I was really pushed out of my comfort zone when Lynn said, oh, you can be in charge of the days for girls. So I'm not usually one to take the lead on things like that. But we ended up having so much fun. The girls really, I think, understood what we were trying to get across to them.
A cultural shock has been seeing the way the hospitals run, seeing how overcrowded it was and the support that they were given, but then right at the last minute they were taken away from their families, so they were not given the opportunity to be with their support network. So that would be very daunting, and for me that was just really confronting to see.
We'll come home with something that will be ingrained for us forever, I think. And to be able to be a part of that is amazing.
Don't have expectations and just enjoy, you know. Take every day as it is, go with the flow.
I think just know what you're in for so that you don't get too shocked and upset by it all.
Yeah, just be mindful about your surroundings and that you're not in Australia and you need to respect their way of living, just like how you would expect to be treated back at home.
Just do it.
So definitely come here with an open mind.
Do it. And if you squat, make sure your pants are completely off so you don't dribble on yourself.
Learn how to squat.
Dive yourself into another culture other than your own and open up your perspective to the whole world.
You can't change the world all at once, you know, it's one step at a time.
It's important to jump into an opportunity like this. It's difficult, don't get me wrong, it's so difficult. It makes you more rounded, more accepting, more loving, and that's important. I think that's my advice, just jump into it.
And it just depends what they want to put into it as to what they get out of it.
If you could narrow it down to one thing collectively, what has been the biggest lesson, do you think?
How well off we are in Australia and what a good health system we've got.
I remember when I was little playing with my friend and we would put Cabbage Patch dolls up our up our t-shirts and then make all sorts of noises and push them out.
Really trying not to be awkward for you guys.
Because like the wet wipes that I have are
I need to pee so bad all of a sudden. How can we do?
Just made me tear up, but I did not cry.
I felt so like...
Make sure you're fully in focus, you know? Whoa, beautiful. Wow.
She's right, because it's an issue that she said, I didn't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Stop.
What is... I'm going to cut this. Let me cut it. Cut it.
Yeah,
cut
that's
it,
okay.
That's
How will this study tour
Wow.
Stitch up.
Honk, honk.
Beep, beep, beep.
Love me tender, love me sweet.
Beauty. Thank you.
Yeah, don't stop. I'm cold.
What have been the best aspects of the study tour?
The journo students.